Redditors who are not in love with their SOs, why are you still with them? Like and subscribe for good luck. Neither of us experience attraction, but we still care deeply for each other. He's my best friend. Also, the marriage was mutually beneficial. Honestly, that sounds like a good deal to me. It's a tad odd, but a marriage only works with a relationship outside of simple attraction. It just sort of became a habit, and when I realized I didn't have the feelings anymore, we had 2 young children and I didn't want to break up the family. And later when we tried couples therapy, this didn't change anything. But our son was diagnosed with leukemia 2 years ago, so I felt we had to stay together until he was well. My ex didn't agree, and we were divorced this summer. My son is almost through the treatment and is doing fine. I have not been this happy and relaxed in years, and so far the kids, 6 and 9 have coped well with me moving, and when they are staying at my new place. My parents did not love each other, but had stayed together because of children. Oh boy, this is common as love in India, dude. PFFT. Arranged marriages. Tell me about it. My parents got divorced, but still live together. It's loved up for everyone. My brother can't stand his wife, hasn't really been in love with her since about a year before their wedding. He talks about divorce to me when we are alone, but he'll never do it. He thinks he'll never meet anyone else, being 32 with no social life. Plus there's a strong possibility she might kill herself if they broke up, or at least attempt it. So together they'll stay. I just hope they don't bring kids into it. I was the one super in love. I don't think he was. Once every 4 or 5 months, we'd have some sort of discussion. The last time, it was that he didn't know if what we had was love. I should have seen that as a warning. But I convinced him to stay with me after an hour discussion. I think he felt guilty. I stayed with him through suicide attempts, drug-induced psychosis, and moved countries for him. I imagine he felt an incredible amount of guilt and stayed with me because of that. I think he cared for my well-being maybe, but he wasn't in love. And it's painfully obvious now that I'm out of the relationship. I'm thankfully not in this relationship anymore, but out of fear that he'd do something to hurt himself. He threatened to do it when I first brought up that I wasn't happy in the relationship, and he became incredibly manipulative. Being in love seems like a state over which you have no control. I long ago made the decision just to love the woman who became my wife. Fortunately, she made the same decision about me. Romantic infatuation has faded, but our love for each other endures. It takes work to maintain, to avoid taking each other for granted. Love is not an emotion, it is a practice. Edit. Thank you for the awards. I'm glad I could contribute to making some folks' days a little more hopeful, and perhaps inspire a bit more love in the world. My boss has been vocal about wanting to leave, but he has kids and no prenup, so he can't afford it. My sister is a massive piece of constantly calls her husband limpy in front of people, in reference to his supposed limp D. Tells him that she wishes he'd get in a car and drive off a cliff. I'm not saying she does this just when they are arguing. I mean, she does this literally every single day, not even angry at him. He's been dealing with this bullshit for 20 plus years out of the 30 years they've been together. The reason he does not leave here is that she would be homeless if he did. She has a bunch of felonies for theft, identity theft, prescription forgeries, etc. She used to be a nurse, had a decent career. Now she wouldn't be able to get a job anywhere. He knows that if he were to leave her, there's a decent chance she'd die on the streets. Other than him, everyone has abandoned her at this point. Just a side note, he is an incredibly honest person. Never steals, does not do drugs, goes to work every single day and works hard. I'm currently in an amazing relationship, textbook true love type of stuff. However, years back I was in a relationship with a woman who abused me physically, sexually, and otherwise. And I did not love her, not for the last year or so, when the abuse got bad. So why did I stay, if it was so bad? Well, unfortunately, and this is true for abusive relationship as well as for mundane loveless relationships, people get wound up together and then it becomes very difficult to imagine your life without them, even if it's not a good life. I guess people are better at surviving the current hardship than breaking away into the unknown. There's a lot more to my story, and everyone's story has its own details. But I think that's the basic answer. You build a life with someone. It gets hard to throw that life away. Until the best way to stay in a long-term relationship is to be suicidal and have kids. Joke's on you. I'm already dead inside. Loved her dog. In my first relationship I thought I had scored the jackpot. I was young, and he was young, and jacked and smart. He overglorified himself, and I just couldn't see that. I looked up to him as a god, mainly because he kept saying I was bad at my studies, and cooking and basically everything that I love to do. I thought I would never get someone better, so thus I stayed. I thought I loved him. I thought that was what love was, but I was just proud that I had gotten someone so amazing. I was stupid. When I was in a relationship with my ex, I liked her, cared for her, been there for her when she needed, and gave space if she needed. I don't know if this is love, but she did none in return. She just said yes and that's it. She was only physically attracted to me, I guess. I don't think she ever loved me. She broke up with me for nothing. One day she wanted me out of her life, so I left. From my cell. If I leave, I'm the perpetrator, breaking up a marriage, wrecking a home, etc., and hurting and humiliating my kids, my parents, my in-laws. But if I stay, I'm a victim of my miserable husband, and everyone wants to help victims. She had me convinced everything was either normal or my fault. Then she cheated and is playing the victim because I read some of her messages after I found out she lied. Now it takes a year to divorce where I live, so technically still married for a year. Anyone reading this for personal reasons, just get out. Good question, Opus. I'm in a relationship for the last 14 years and what I have to say is, love is amorphous. It changes what it is and is hard to pinpoint sometimes. Sometimes you will be mad at each other. Sometimes you will share laughter and smiles and hugs and kisses. Sometimes you will be underwhelmed. Sometimes you will be bored. Sometimes you will be full of pride and appreciation. Other times you will take them for granted. Sometimes the sex will be great. Other times Sammy. But life goes on. Can anyone truly say they are in love constantly and without interruption always? Or is it something that ebbs and flows? I think the latter. But I'm always loyal and feel allegiance to my partner and family. I always have the attitude that I'm committed and we are on this journey together, and I certainly don't want to be with anyone else. So that's my 2 cents right now. I would make the argument that what you describe as allegiance and loyalty is actually love. I believe love is a choice that you have to continue to make over and over again, and not whatever Hollywood or other media outlets might claim it to be. Love doesn't just sit there like a stone. It has to be made, like bread, remade all the time, made new. Ursula K. Le Guin, The Lathe of Heaven. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more daily videos.